Gentlemen, this is the 41st episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I'm your host, Katie M. Kane. And tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, we have Short Sleeve Magician, is a breeder of cannabis that I follow on Instagram. He's the breeder of the jailbird strain. So we're happy to have him on the show and interview him and ask some questions about some of his projects he's working on. Can you hear us okay, Mr. Short Sleeve Magician?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. I'm not DJ Shepard.
Yeah,
uh, Maybe we could have a moment of silence for Kobe and
yeah,
and Taylor Swift. She broke up with and just never back to her. So maybe we could have a moment of silence.
yeah, no doubt.
That's your word.
Word, you're chopping out a little bit there, man. Your audio is getting a little bit choppy, but we can push on through, dude. I'm gonna start with my cookie cutter questions. You're based out of Oregon, correct?
Yeah, Eugene. Yeah.
Based out of Eugene, right on. Okay. So how did you decide on breeding as your trade in cannabis? What led you to that? And like how long you been at it? Like elaborate as much as you can.
Um, I don't know. Do you want backstory before that, like how I started or how I first
Yeah,
smoked?
yeah, yeah, dude. Like you gotta be as old as I am, you know. So you
Yeah,
you in Oregon you had way better laws than I did growing up in Idaho. So it's you know.
I'm kind of from here, but kind of not. Uh, I was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I first started in '95. I was 15. Um, I was always everything. My dad was an alcoholic. My mom was kind of straight and narrow. I don't know. Growing up in weed and stuff like that.
And and dude, your audio is chopping a little bit. Can you just like talk a little bit louder maybe? It just sounds like it's barely blurbling and coming through.
Yeah, I'm talking as loud as I can. Is it coming through clear?
Yeah, that's
Is that
better,
better?
dude. That's way better. Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah.
And so you
Where'd I
say your
leave off
mom
at? Um,
you said your pop was a boozer, your mom was like a regular straight and narrow cat. So how did you get into the
yeah,
cannabis?
yeah. I was growing up in Ohio at the time. Um, it's real depending on what part of the state you're in there. I'm from Northeast Ohio. It's real anti there. Um, you got to go to the ghetto to get your weed. Um, it's not like it is here where you can just knock on your neighbor's door and get it if you're like on campus or it's not like that where I'm from. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's where
same.
that's where I grew up. Um, so I was always against weed. Well, and that's just basically because of how my dad was, or what I
Yeah.
saw him at then. So I'm around a group of friends. Um, these guys were actually in a band with my older brother. My brother's about 5 years older than me, and he's straight and narrow like my mom, right?
Yeah.
But these band members of his were a year ahead of me, and they were friends of mine. And here I am strolling through one day, and they're smoking weed out of this little pocket bomb. It was a purple plastic pocket bomb with like this fold out stem. Um,
Hell
I
yeah.
remember a lot of shit, man. Like I got a memory like fucking Rain Man. But
Yeah, man.
I remember this dude Lenny in the group was like leading the charge. You know, he brought the pocket bong, he had the stash. I was like, oh, what are you guys doing? You know, um, I tried it a couple times and I didn't get anything from it. And the one time I got high for the first time was maybe like the third or fourth time I smoked it, and uh, we were up in Clay's garage. Clay's another friend from back in the day. Um, there may be a half dozen of us smoking. Um, I was super affected, man. Like I was cross-eyed and fucked up. They were running circles around me. Um, and like the room is spinning and shit. I I went to the middle school football field and like passed out for a little bit. I woke up on a buddy's front porch who wasn't even with me at all that day. And I had this dream that I went to Katie's Corner Ice Cream in Canfield, Ohio, and got ice cream. And then I'm serious. This is the first story, dude. Like I remember it vividly. You know,
Yeah.
it's a long time ago, but I remember it. So I tell my friends like, hey, I had a dream on Katie's Corner Ice Cream, and they're like, we were there with you, man. Like you were really fucked up, you know. And I'm like, wow, holy shit, you know. Uh, so that was my first experience with weed. I was almost kind of put off by it because it affected me so much. Um, and I think the second time I got high, I had bought a dime bag off of this kid, and I remember putting it in my wallet, and I remember like riding my bike around for like a couple weeks. Like, where can I like safely smoke this? Like, you have to understand, it's like that's not naturally how I think as a person. It's like the stigma around weed in general where I grew up there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Well,
yeah,
so
I started smoking.
when did you start cultivating and growing and getting into breeding and shit like that, dude? Like when did that
Oh fuck. Um, I was selling weed from '96 to '99, um, quite a bit. We were getting a lot of weed from these guys in Texas. Um, I tried growing some plants from seed then, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Um,
Yeah.
and, and I I never grew a plant all the way through when I was a teenager. Um, so
Yeah, so just had them in
let's
veg.
see.
Like nobody knows anything
Yeah,
back then, like, shit.
yeah,
Like
I was doing a lot of things at the time, man. I was selling weed. There was money in that. I was playing in a band. Um, I played drums. So my buddy was this guitar player, you know. He bought this van, and he's like, "Let's move to LA with our bands." And so we did. And that was in 2000. We moved to fucking Koreatown. And
that's tight.
before before we left on that trip, um, we used to go to Nelson's Ledges a lot in Ohio. Um, we used to get gel tabs there, and you know, mushrooms, and the dankest weed ever came through there. It's in Garrettsville. This was back in the day. I don't know how it is now. This was like 20 years ago. Um, I first got to smoke Chem Dog um, going to Nelson's Ledges. Um, that changed everything for me. I found myself, yeah, it sounds like a story or whatever, but it's
Well,
just
nah,
part of it
dude.
too.
Like, it's man. If you get something with a name, you remember that shit, bro. You know, for real.
Yeah, it was by name. It wasn't Chem D. It wasn't Chem Sis. Um, this hippie group of guys, and I say that because I mean I might be modern day like hippie because I'm all about weed, but I mean I comb my hair and shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah, no doubt. Same,
I don't know.
same, man.
I'm not trying to say anything negative. You know, like I just look a lot different than the part I really am, I guess. But yeah, I always hung tight or tried to, and really tried to with people that I thought had a clue just about anything that was really something, and that was really something when I experienced it. Um, when we were moving the band out to Koreatown, like I knew what ChemDog was. Um,
Yeah.
here we're 20 years old in this band, and like we still hadn't really thought about growing yet. You know what I mean? A lot of focus on the band. We bought a lot of weed still. Um, this is gonna sound strange too, but shout out to Casper from Create Genetics. Um, he's only been breeding a few years, you know of, but I've known that guy since 2000. Um, he is one of the first people that me and my group of friends there met that had the dank like all the time. Um, he's not where I first smoked OG Kush from. Um, that's another story too. It wasn't
Well,
called
what did
OG
you?
Kush back then.
Well,
Um,
what about the growing? When did you start growing, man? What happened that made you switch from the music to the ganj? Because I went through changes like that too, where it was I don't have any
yeah, well,
loot. I don't have any loot to fucking put into my music, but I'm kind of nice with this fucking gardening shit, so I'm gonna focus on that for a couple years. You know what I mean?
yeah, man. The band didn't pan out. I moved to Eugene for a few months. This was in 2000. Um, things didn't work out here. I moved back to Ohio for um, 3 years, and in 2003, I moved back to SoCal. It didn't work out again, and I moved up here to Eugene, Oregon, and that's where I met. Still to this day, two of my friends. They taught me how to grow in 2003. Um, um, where do I start with that? Um, they grew organic. I grew organic. You know, um, I tried different things through the years, like anybody else. Uh, uh, I don't know. A lot of that stuff, even though I'm passionate about, took a big back seat to some things that I focused on more. Um, I used to have
I
a
can dig.
significant other. Um, I was married at one point in time. I was with that person for 12 years. Um,
Word.
a lot, a lot of focus was put on that. Um, my second love is cannabis. Um,
No doubt.
uh, it's pretty close in how I guard that next to what used to be my family. Um,
Yeah. And
I
you
like
don't
to
you
joke
don't got to
around
talk
like
about
everybody
that.
else.
Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
talk about any of that shit, bro. We don't, we just want to ask you about the nugs and the breeding and shit. So, like that's you don't have to talk about that, man. It's all good.
Um, I don't know if I could sum up like a long story short how I got into breeding. Um, I'd have
Yeah,
to shout
man.
out
So
a
like
group. I'd
so
have to
like it
shout out
you
a
were
group of people
in Eugene, it's
from.
cracking, right? It's going on down there.
Yeah, well, I also moved away from Eugene in 2008 or 2009, and in that time, I moved to Ohio and back to Reseda, California, and that was in 2010. I was
Word,
growing
Reseda
then.
got game. Yeah, Reseda got game, yo.
Yeah, I was growing then, and I'd been holding some nice strains for close to 4 years because I had really nice stuff from '07 to 11. When we moved away from there, I left that stuff there. But
Yeah.
while I was there, I had always sworn by growing elites. Um, that was kind of pounded in me by my friends that taught me how to grow, and everybody around. Um,
What do you
growing
mean by
from
growing
seed was
elites? Like elite
um,
strains,
cl-
like ordering
clone
boutique
only
shit? Like,
clone only cultivars, clone only cuts. Um, I call them elites, I guess, because they're
yeah,
elite. Um,
yeah, that's cool, dude. Yeah, man, I don't
but
know, you know what I mean? So like that, I'm interviewing you, asking questions, bro, because I never really like California. I've been through there a couple times, but not on no weed missions or anything like that. So when fools are from there or
yeah,
live there for a while, I'm like, man, that's cool, man, because that's where a lot of the dope genetics really came from. You know what I mean? Like everything started there because everybody was doing.
I think there's a lot to say about California in general. A lot of great people doing a lot of great things came through there at the right times. Um, when I was there in 2010, I remember a couple different places where you could get legit clone only elite flower. We used to go to this place called Topanga Canyon Caregivers. I don't know if they're still around, but they had every chem dog cut there, and they were all legit. I was actually growing 91D4 and some LA Con while I was living there. I posted for the first time on Facebook online ever there. That was in 2010. Um, I, w- I was
Word.
doing a closet. I was doing a closet grow um, just because I didn't want to miss a step in what I was doing. Um,
Yeah,
it's also the
dude,
first time I posted online. I had my stuff boxed up, you know. So I meet Professor P and Golden Coast Genetics online on Facebook back then.
word.
Um,
Professor P's a cool cat, man. I met that guy a couple times.
yeah, um, I've never met him in person. Um, he sent me a lot of free seeds to test. Um, he knows a lot about my personal life, probably more than a lot of people. Um,
Word.
I don't know if the guy likes me or not. I don't know if a lot of people like me or not. I guess I get that. But he
It's
introduced me to growing from seed by way of this guy, Dan Green. He goes by HashGod Dank on Instagram. Um, Dan Green was growing some nice weed on Facebook back then.
word.
Um, like I said, it sounds kind of embarrassing, man, but I didn't know where exactly to post. As soon as I met Professor P back then, he talked to Breed Bay. I knew of those things, but still I didn't get into any of that. Um, I like to grow. I like to test different stuff. I like to see new things before anybody else does, you know.
Same,
Um,
dude.
I'm
Same.
also a big,
Anytime I meet a breeder, I'm like, dude, if you want to send any testers, send them to me, man. You know, like,
yeah. Um,
you know.
I like I like the Professor P was Coming original and what I saw him doing. And actually, the first stuff that I grew from him was when me and my ex found ourselves moving back to Ohio in 2012. Like I said, I left everything that I did have in California, but I had Huckleberry Kush 2011. I had Miss Universe F2, and I had Cosmic Brain. I think Cosmic Brain was Oregon Affy by Space Queen, or it was Oregon
Word.
Affy by, or it was Oregon Affy by the Miss Universe. I can't remember, but
Damn. I never seen that one. I seen the first two, but not that one. That sounds.
I dipped into those. Um, they were packs of 10 seed or 12 seed.
Yeah, he always threw in two
I just dipped
extra.
into them.
That's why I loved him. It says fucking 10 on the package, but you get 12 in the fucking little container. I'm like, man, that guy's the
Yeah,
shit. You know what I mean?
I
It's
didn't
like
I
two
didn't
extra
fully
rolls
test.
of the dice. I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck, man, that's
I
awesome.
didn't fully test those packs. Um, Not with the whole run of all seeds. You know, I dipped into them. I found some nice stuff in them, man, and I wrote
Fuck
them
yeah.
back and was like, hey, you know, like this growing from seed shit isn't whack. Like
Serious.
you know, you turned me on to it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
from there, I explored what other people were doing and what they were creating. Um, I ran some other stuff over time next to his, especially. I always had his stuff in my garden. Um, his plants are really easy to grow. They stay healthy. Um, he's got a nice selection process and the work he's really doing. Um, so I met some other people online, actually through I think probably by way of Matt Riot. I used to be pretty tight with him, I thought at one point in time. Or
Mount Riot, is that like is he a breeder?
yeah, Riot Seed Company. He's been around a
Oh,
really long
okay.
time, in my opinion.
Word.
You know.
Yeah, I never like that's I asked, bro, because a lot of shit out there that I haven't heard of that's dope. You know what I mean? But like my
Yeah,
experience is like every time I hear something new, like I'm like, man, check that it's tight. Yeah, cool.
yeah. I can't say that. Well, I had some personal stuff going on, and
Yeah,
I don't really know too many people that I'm close to in real life. I try to keep it that way. But
yeah, man.
I felt like confiding in him about some things, and
Yeah,
it was used against me. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of weak. You know, um, I think everybody's capable of fucking things up. Um, I know I certainly did in my life. Um,
yeah.
but you
Everybody
know, like
has, bro. You know what I mean? Like everybody has. That's why
yeah, I mean,
it didn't
you
bother me
know,
to have you on the
I don't
show.
know.
I'm like, dude, it's none of my
I
biz, bro. I wanted to ask you about the weed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
everybody.
all a
Well,
part of it, though. You
I
know,
guess not everybody, but
how much further would I might be if people didn't try and attach, you know, like something in my personal life to what I'm really doing for other people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'll just put it this way,
That's
man. You know, I don't have thousands of people who've purchased my seed like Matt does. But
yeah,
I'd like to think, man, that like I might run across somebody like me, who might have done something fucked up in their life like me, reaching out to me, confiding in me, and I'm gonna be the last guy that's pointing my finger at them. Especially
yeah.
knowing that like they're not continuing to live their life um, in some damaging way. Um,
Yeah, and that's dude, cause
and I don't know
like
to really put it on somebody that one act um, displays how they are as a person overall is I'm just not like that, you know.
yeah, yeah, same dude. Like I caught felony charges my senior year of college, and I I still was able to graduate. I had to sit 30 days in jail after I graduated, and then I was on probation for 2 years before I could leave Idaho. But I handled all
Oh,
my shit, and I thought I was gonna be cool after I handled all my shit, but there's no actual real jobs. When they search your name, it still says felony charges, bro. So I can relate to that totally. Like, it just it still to this day it follows me. You know what I mean? And that shit was in '08, bro, when I caught those charges. When people are like, "Man, why are you so open about the weed and shit?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't really have a choice." You know what I mean? Like the bud tending and gardening jobs are what's available to me even with my education and experience with multimedia shit and whatever. It's just like, man, those motherfuckers don't want to hire. You know what I mean? As soon as they search my name, so you know, like it was the Mac store in Beaverton, bro. I was gonna be the inventory guy there, and I was hyped. It's like all you got to do is match up with the computer. What went out the door that day? If something's off, you're fucked. So just make sure everything's right. I'm like, guy interviewed me, liked everything I was saying, told him about the charges. He's like, should be cool. Next day he calls me and it's like, nah, it's not cool. Corporate doesn't want to fuck with you. So I can't give you this job. And I'm like, fuck, dude. And I really like it's not like there's a super big discount at a place like that. You know what I mean? Like Mac products are Mac products, but I'm a musician, so I was like hella hype about like, yeah, I'm gonna get this job. And then I and so and that was before 2014. Like 2014, the laws changed in Oregon to where medical dispensaries started opening, and I had enough homies and experience to slide into a couple of places and make shit happen. It was better after that, but it's like I have to do the weed shit. There's no other shit for me to do. You know what I mean? Like it's a booming industry and nobody in this industry is mad that I have charges for possession of this product that's legal now 10 years.
yeah, I agree with a
So
lot of points said there.
so I
You know,
so I dig where you're coming from, bro. I just you know like who fucking cares about anyone else, dude? I'm trying to ask you about the shit that you're, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean,
um
I don't agree with weed being illegal. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't really agree with the legal market of it either. But you have to
Yeah, it
understand,
sucks.
at one
It
point in
crushed
time, it was just
everything.
a bunch of us criminals running around and holding shit and keeping it for everybody else. So
Yeah.
I don't know, to like point me out as like, oh, he's got a criminal record. You know, he's got a rap sheet. He's this, that, the other. It's like I don't really know how many of you motherfuckers. You know, I've never met any of you guys. You know,
Yeah. And
and
that that
and
that
if I
was
am that,
my
and if I am that, like, are we gonna talk when we meet, or like, what the, you know, what's it really gonna be?
yeah. And that was
I
my
don't know.
approach to the situation, dude. You know what I mean? I'm just
Like
like, dude, I don't
sometimes I
know
wonder,
you and
sometimes
I
I wonder
don't
what
know
people smoke.
him other yeah, I don't
Yeah, sometimes I
understand
wonder what
either.
people smoke. Are they smoking weed or are they smoking meth? Like, you know,
Yeah.
they want to fight and stuff.
Yeah,
It's like,
man.
dude,
I don't
obviously, you know, like you're this big name breeder and like you want to talk shit about everybody and stab them in the back and bring their personal life in the shit when they're actually doing good work that like nobody
yeah,
else is
man.
coming original with. I'll
Yeah,
fucking say that about myself, man. You know, it's not just a strain. I
yeah.
lost
Well,
everything making that. It's part of my real life story, and I incorporated Dynasty in it because I got love for that guy and his work. Other people need to see that. Other
yeah,
people
man.
also need to know that it's okay to fuck up. You know, I
Yeah.
got lucky enough to get some other seed from Elite Cannabis out of Colorado. Matt from there, he gifted me that. He let me work it. I asked for permission on both sides. I wanted to make something good from something that wasn't. You know. Um,
Yeah. And
My
so that's
ex-wife
like
named the strain. My ex-wife named it, you know?
Word.
And that was before
And that's the
shit
that's the
between her and I
jailbird.
happened.
That's the
Yeah.
jailbird strain
Um,
you're talking about. And what is the cross
yeah,
on jailbird? Can you say that? Can you talk about the breeding of that shit? Cause,
yeah,
cause for real, dude, I don't want to interrupt you, but I don't want to hear about that shit, dude. I want to hear about the weed shit. You know what I mean? Like, who
nobody
fucking
does,
cares
man.
about?
Like
Well,
I'm
dude,
over
it's
it
not,
too.
and
It's like
and and
Jerry,
it's
Jerry,
and I know that I said it's your place to say whatever you want, but I gotta try and refocus on the weed shit because that's what I want to ask you about, dude. Like all that other stuff, it is, yeah. It's like Jerry. That's not what we do on this show, man. You know, like
Yeah,
we want to hear,
if you want to
we
smoke
want
good
to hear the
weed that's not gonna sell in rec, then buy my shit. You
word.
know,
And so, and
smoke my
Jailbird
weed.
is
If you want something that's gonna take you to the moon and then drop you on your fucking head, that's mine. But there ain't no hype behind it. There ain't no push behind it. Like I
and that
said, people will try and associate my personal life with whatever I'm doing. I know that's kind of attached to what that is, but it's also the premise of like, dude, none of you guys are perfect. What if I
yeah.
spend as much time digging up dirt on you as I do trying to make something that's actually good?
Well, it's
Get
and
your hands
it's
on some of the new
dude.
stuff that we passed out.
Yeah, man.
You
I've
know that?
I've worked I've worked next to guys on weed crews that committed murder and sat 20 years. You know what I mean? And they're old men now, but it's like they treated me good and had funny jokes, told me good stories. And I didn't learn that about them until later, and I didn't feel scared after I learned about it. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, like he's all right. He treated me okay. So that's I don't want to, I don't want to fucking talk about that, bro. Let's talk about the weed
Yeah.
shit. How did you
It,
how did you how did you pick Jailbird? Like what's the cross on Jailbird and what did like how did you
the
choose
mother
those two parents?
the mother side is it's Mother Seed Elite Cannabis. It's Triangle Kush by ChemD I-95. Now the ChemD I-95 comes from Tierra Rojo and Matt Danger Ross of Deep Space Creations. It's also called
Yeah.
Chem De La, it's called
Well,
Chem
fuck,
De La
dude.
Chem.
I've
Um,
never had any like triangle kush, but anything that I had that was crossed with it, fucking fire, dude.
yeah, no
Like
doubt.
serious.
So Matt Danger Ross and Tierra Rojo took Chem De I-95 to F2. They F-chened it second time, second filial
Word.
breeding, right?
Yeah.
Um, they passed those seeds to P-Bud Mike. P-Bud Mike is friends with Matt from Elite Cannabis. P-Bud gave those seeds to Matt. Matt took him to F3 and chose his own male, and then he hit a series of his elites, like Triangle Kush, that he gave me. SFE, he gave me those two. East Coast
Okay, man.
Sour
Can I can I
Diesel.
can I ask you one question? So,
Yeah.
like, if you buy F2 seeds and you save a male and you cross it back with one of the females from the packs that you cracked, that the seeds from that are an F3. Like, is that what that's called? Because like, I'm fucking dumb, dude. Call me a dipshit. I don't care. Like it's a logistical question that I have. Like, is that what that's considered?
What would the cross be again?
So like, okay, so say Dynasty Genetics, say he puts out something new, right? It's F1. If I crack 12 of those seeds and there's 2 males and 10 females and I save one male and I pollinate it, you know what I mean? I pollinate one of the females. The seeds from that, is that considered an F3? Like it's that strain crossed with that strain a third time. Is that why they call it?
If you got F1 seeds from Dynasty and crossed them
And
once
yeah,
together,
it would be F2. Yeah, F2. My bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
I was a
F2.
touch. Okay,
From
cool,
that
man.
progeny, if you pulled a male and a female again, yeah, you'd be F3. But I don't really know if he'd like you doing that.
Yeah, well, cause there's, well,
I mean, but that's an
I
example. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just logistically speaking, you know what I mean? Because I don't know,
Yeah,
dude.
I
Like
actually
there's
I got
there's
tester seed of Ghetto Bird from Dynasty. That's the male in the cross. Um,
yeah.
there
Isn't that
were
the
there were
like
tw- there
is
were
is that like
22
one of
seeds that
the
he gave me. I grew those out. It's C99 White Widow by Blue Heron.
hell
Blue
yeah.
Heron is
That's
Blue Magoo by Huckleberry. It's a lot of
yeah.
old school stuff in there. His the Huckleberry is well worked. It was really solid just as a tester plant, right? So I chose a male and a female out of those 22 seeds. I F2'd it. Out of those seeds, I grew out 60 plants. Um, the male I chose out of that for Jailbird was a number 33 Ghetto Bird male. He was
Tight.
super trite. Um, he didn't have a whole lot of leaf on him. Um, from a distance, he almost looked like a female because his nut sacks just stacked like female flowers.
Yeah,
Um,
dude. I've ran a lot of seeds and sometimes they don't show till way late and I'm like, fuck, it's a male, goddamn. You know,
yeah,
like you fucker, you know, like I gotta fucking
yeah.
spray you down and get you out of here.
I looked at well, like I said, it was named by my ex-wife. Um, I was going through some shit. I had assaulted this guy named Whitey. I'm friends with him now. He's a professor at the U of O. Uh, he's one of my best friends right now, actually. He's gone to court in my defense and everything. Um, yeah, I have this like fucked up life. It's cool though, man. um,
Well, dude,
but
yeah,
anyway,
dude, and I know sometimes you want a place to fucking let that shit fly, but dude, it doesn't matter to me, man. You know what I
I don't know
mean?
if I was giving anybody advice. I'd be like, yeah, if you want to make new friends, bro, like don't assault them first, you know. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I try to mind my man,
this
you
dude, like
know?
he's actually one of my best friends now. Um, um, so so when that happened, I had to go to court and everything. It spooked out my ex-wife and me pretty hard. Um, in the middle of that, that's when I was gifted those seeds from Matt from Elite, and I had already gone through and like found this real nice male from Dynasty, those F2s that I made personally. He told me not to give
Yep,
them out, and I never have. You know, I just use them
good
for
for
me
you.
for that project. He said that was cool, so I did that. Um, I do a second run of the moms. I had two sister plants from Elite. Um, to pollinate those, I wanted to do like a good play on word, you know, like good name play. And my wife was like, well, bad things tend to happen in threes. And I'm like, well, Triangle Kush. And I'm like, and the Chem I-95 that Matt used happens to be F3. And I'm like, and holy shit, like I'm going to use two sisters and one plant, like three plants and I'm like, I'm going through a lot of personal shit at the same time. And it's like this triangle keeps like showing like this bad thing in threes. You probably fucking attract what you think, and I don't know. That's probably me, man. I got like this dark cloud, but
Yeah, well, dude, that's what I try.
but
I have the
so
same issue. Like I'm a manic depressive, all this other shit. They try to give me pills when I was a kid, and it's like, man, I'd rather just smoke weed now and tell myself to think positive and you know
yeah,
think that good shit will happen, and good shit will happen. You know what I mean? Like, and bad shit's gonna happen no matter what, bro. Like, fucking life's a bitch, and then you die. So keeping that in mind, trying to smile while it all happens, like being gracious, goes a long ways, dude. You know, like
one, I've taken it on the chin as much as I can stomach. You know what I mean?
yeah, same, dude, same. I'm glad you came on the show, dude. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't have anything against you, and I don't want to. I don't want to keep talking about that, dude. Like, it's. Like, what are some of your methods in breeding? Like, how do you just take a male and hit the whole room, or do you paintbrush? Do you put shit in a fucking turkey bag or a paper bag and then wet it after you put it on the like? Because dude,
That
I'm moving.
yeah,
I'm moving to
that was just
Spokane. I'm moving to Spokane in a month, and that's what I'm trying to do. And it's I only have so much space and so much power, but it's like I read a lot of shit, and so when I can talk to guys like you who've done it, I try to ask these questions, man.
yeah, that was my first go at it. What I was looking for was to mash up two well work lines together. Um, Dynasty's Ghetto Bird. I got to test and I got to name it. Um,
Motherfucking
so the
ghetto
name,
bird.
yeah. So
That's
the
a
name
dope
played off
ass
of
name.
that.
I love Ice Cube. Cube.
Yeah, the name played off of that. With the bad things happening in threes, the triangle cross. My ex-wife was like, "Call it Jailbird," you know, and so I was like, "That's perfect," you know.
Word.
I fucking love that, and I can think of all kind of things that I could play off of that with um, this guy I know, and that happens to be Indo Supply Company. Um,
Word.
I've been watching him a real long time. Um, I've had four different profiles on Instagram that have been deleted. This is my fourth one. Um, I've been following him for about 6 years, but I've only gotten close with him in like the last year or so, last year and a half.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
gave him 70 seeds of the Jailbird TK dominant beans, and I gave him 70 seeds of the Jailbird Cam, and he popped them all. He pheno hunted through those himself. Um, I was asking him if he could help me continue um, my project since I'm in this situation. And the situation is like, um, I live in my car,
Word.
right?
Been there, bro. Been there.
I'm
You
a
know what I mean?
felon, bro. Like, um, I'm under like I'm under Johnny Law. You know, like I don't know like how severely they watch me or whatever, but like I comply because I want to get the fuck on. Like,
Yeah.
it's been surviving for nearly 18 months. March might be them kicking me loose. I talked to my PO. He wants me gone.
Word.
Um,
I wish you fucking luck with that, bro, because I know how that
yeah,
feels.
I
Like,
appreciate you.
you
It's
know?
been tough. I've done trimming work and shit, and have got like laid off as a trimmer. That's kind of like humbling and like
Yeah,
fuck. What am I
it
gonna do
is.
from here? You know, and like why am I like having like one of my buddies hold cuts for me and why am I trying to breed? And why am I trying to? I don't have anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's expensive as fuck to live here in Oregon anymore. Um,
Hell yeah, man. Like that's
it
why I
looks like
left, bro.
I got some more understanding folk, at least that I've talked to lately, that might be down in Oklahoma. So that's kind of looking good to me. It
Word.
looks like how things used to be before I got squeezed out here when I first started dealing with legal problems, and that was back in 2015. That's right when medical shops were actually like legal here, and shortly after, within like what, like a month and a half, then there's rec shops, or it was just real fast. You know,
Yeah.
um, I lost a lot of equipment then. I got squeezed out then. It's been a fight to like I tried to hold my family together as long as I could. Grow as my
I
second
understand
passion.
that.
Start
Yeah,
to breed, you know what I mean? And then I had to wait like 9 months to get all my shit back. They wouldn't let me smoke for the first 9 months being sentenced. Um, so I didn't sleep for like 144 days. Like
damn.
I'm that dependent on weed. Like I've been smoking since I was 15 years old, man. Like I got PTSD I wasn't raised right. Um,
Yeah.
people probably ask that about me a lot too. Who raised you? You know, like I have an
Yeah.
answer. I'm not
Well,
gonna sit
like
here and blame my dad or like it was the
me
reason why I
neither.
did things I did. Like
Me
I
neither.
think anybody's capable. You know, if there's some passion involved, there's anybody's capable of some dumb shit.
Yeah,
Um,
my thing lately is I say that I had to delete all the programming that I learned growing up and write my own new shit. And it's difficult when you just delete some shit that you operated off of for a really long time. You know,
I
like
still
it's
talk shit out the side of my neck. You know, especially online. I don't know.
yeah. Well,
I don't
dude,
mean to
and
like hurt anybody's feelings or anything. You know what I mean? It's like
me
I
neither. I don't,
feel I feel seriously about being involved in any of it, and yeah, there's been a lot of people who moved away from me, and it probably was what stuff I say or stuff I'm open about. Um, but I'll tell you this, man. Like some people judge other people on that, and there's these like big name breeders who deal with thousands of people. I just like to think if I have a chance of dealing with thousands of people, that like I'd be a little bit more understanding. You know, that because some of them might be crazy just like me, and you know, like and trusting in somebody, like thinking they're a close friend, like I thought Matt Riot was, and then like finding
yeah.
themselves reaching out to them like with their like personal shit, and
Yeah, dude,
then it like
that's
turned around
why
on them, you know. And I'm just trying
yeah.
to make moves in here like anybody else is, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to smoke fucking cookie cream. You know, I don't even want to. You know, the names are fucking retarded, man. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, so can
there's
you talk about the prison sex strain too, dude? Because that's how I started like really fanning your
yeah,
shit. Because I was like, bro, I
I
fucking love
play
Tool, bro. I just saw them last
yeah I
weekend
play
at the
drums.
fucking Gila River Arena. Like I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah, I play drums, man, and I'm a big Danny Carey fan. I'm a big
hell
John
yeah,
Bonham fan.
fuck
Um,
yeah,
so Danny Carey's like the octopus, and like that
he
song,
is.
like how it's structured is like I really like how Tool played back then.
Yeah,
So that song has always really stuck out to me. It's not so much about the lyrical content.
it
It's
jams.
like
You know
it's
what I
like a shout
mean?
out to
It's
like
fucking
you
hot.
know
It's
yeah
a
I used
shout
to like
out to
sing that
growing up
song.
fucked up. It's a shout out to growing up fucked up. You know what I mean? And it is the lyrical content is terrible, but it that song jams. And when I had a band in Portland, like we stayed together for a year and a half, I wanted to cover that song for our set. The
Yeah,
timing changes were too much for the drummer and everyone else. Like they could, I was like, what the fuck? I can sing. How come you guys can't play it? And it's like you can't set a metronome for that shit because it fucking it changes right there, and it just it totally made me understand how talented as far as musicians are. You know, like those guys were. So it was like, man, I thought my drummer was tight. He couldn't fuck with that shit. You know what I mean? And it doesn't sound super basic and fucking intricate, but it's the timing, dude. Like it's not 3/4 or 4/4. It's 7/13, and then there's like a fucking 6/8 rest, and then you know, like it continues on. How did you come across fucking making that strain, dude? Like, how did you choose the project for that? Because I the name was super creative, and shout out to Tool.
um,
You know what I mean?
it, it's Cherry Pie by Jailbird. Um, Indo has had Indo Supply Company. He's had that cut for a number of years, a real long time. And he knows how to grow it really well. Uh, so the play on words is kind of there, you know, like what do you imagine when you hear prison sex? You know, like I imagine like some dude getting like cherry pied in jail, cherry pie by jailbird. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Like
I don't know.
it made sense.
I used to play in bands too, and like not only did I play drums, but I had a hard time like forming a band. So I forced myself to play guitar, and I taught myself how by watching my friends play, and I found myself like writing my own songs. So I got creative with that, and like how I wrote lyrics, and that's inspired by everything I listen to. Like I can't give credit to like myself with anything really. Whether it's like
Yeah,
some like it
yeah,
always comes from somewhere else.
yeah, it's inspiration. I tell homies that they're like, "So, what are you gonna work on music down there in Asia?" I'm like, "Yeah, a couple more books
Yeah,
before I churn out some songs. You know, like I gotta content before I fucking create my own."
I kind of look at it like this, man. Like it's an opportunity. Um, like I had a choice when I first met my ex if I could be with her or not, right? And I
Yeah,
looked at it as an opportunity just coming by me, and I was like, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna do that. Um, so I look at growing the same way. I've never been able to deny it, much um, like a relationship you're dedicated to, committed to. Um, Making something new from that. Um, Especially like I put myself under the microscope. I'll tell on myself before anybody's like trying to make me look like a fool. They think they know something
yeah.
about me. I'll tell you everything about me before you think you know.
Well,
You
dude, I
know.
don't, like this. We
But
don't. This ain't
but
Maury,
making
bro.
new
We don't
stuff,
care.
especially like prison sex, is like that's offensive as fuck. You're gonna name a
Oh well,
train prison
yeah,
sex.
but
People are gonna be like,
like I,
they're gonna be like, what
I
about the memes? Like, what is it? What does it smell like? Yeah.
yeah. Well,
What does
dude,
prison
that
sex taste like? Yeah. What is it? What does prison sex look like? Come on. What does
well,
it look
dude,
like?
I
Like
feel
there's all kind
like
of like innuendo and shit that you can play on it. And it's like,
yeah, but honestly,
yeah,
bro, I feel like you could go to a Tool show and have joints of that shit and just give it out with business cards with a phone number, and people would buy ounces for like 300. You know what I mean? Just because it has that on the business card, and the joint we smoked was fire as shit. You know what I mean? And I'm sure this type of guerrilla marketing is probably not allowed in this time and place in America. It just I feel like
yeah.
yeah,
As
some
far as
people will be like,
making
"That's
that,
fucked up," but as soon as I saw it, I got it. You know what I mean? And I commented immediately, "Fuck, I love Tool. That video is the shit, and that song is the shit, and that band is the shit. The singer, the drummer, the guitar player, the bass player. It just I was instantly a fan after that. I'm like, yeah, this guy's listening to Tool. Like that's you know what I mean? And so I don't know. That I think maybe the little bit of that controversy with the name, if you put it at a couple of seed banks or library, I think they'll sell out, bro. You know what I mean? Because
dude,
especially
nobody buys
if
my shit.
well,
Nobody buys
dude,
my
it's like
shit.
you gotta you
No,
gotta
no,
put
no, no,
it
no.
out there.
I
You
don't
gotta
know.
put it out there.
Um,
You know what I mean? Like you gotta put it out there. I'm gonna run the shit that I got from you. So I'm gonna post pics and be like, yo, Tool fans, holler at your boy. This is the one,
well,
like
I'll say this, man. I don't want to put anybody on blast or make them um, stay committed to a promise that I'm not sure they're still committed to. But when I first released Jailbird, I got a message in my inbox from somebody I super look up to, probably more than anybody. Um, they say, "Hey, your Jailbird looks fire. Um, your Bird Dog looks fire too. How would you like to do a mini collab where I help release that with you?" And I don't know how to react to that still. Um, if
yeah,
that person, no, listen, if that person still wants to do that with me, that could change my current life. You
yeah.
know,
Well, if that
at
person is
least I'd be living
listening,
in a fucking place again. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. If that person is listening, then holler at the guy. Like shit, like it's
you all know him. You all know him.
well, dude, I just think
I
that
hope you all respect him as much as I do too, because that strain, um, wasn't supposed to be for everybody, you know.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's
Um,
that when I saw it online, and then I don't even not the jailbird because that's not the shit. I just saw the prison sex post.
I
Like
gave jailbird to
it's
people, you
jailbird
know what I
CrossFit.
mean?
I know.
I,
Well, and because I'm an indica guy too, bro. You know what I mean? So I was just like, dude, that's fucking sick ass. You know what I mean? Like that's fire. You know, like and so I like whatever I can do to help, dude. You know, like I'm a cool cat, and I appreciate you being a cool coming on the show. So, I just I don't want to get into no personal shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a fan of your work already, and I haven't even cracked the beans, man. So, props to you, short sleeve magician.
I appreciate you. You can't give me all the credit for that though. First and
Yeah,
foremost, we gotta thank Indo. We gotta thank Indo Supply Company. Um, from those 140 seeds that I gifted him, he found that male, the number 41 jailbird chem male. We both decided to go forward with that male. But those tester seeds that we have out now, Indo made those. He did the pollination on those, just to give credit for everything. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no
The
doubt, and that's dope too,
the
man.
names
Like
for
I try to,
them, the names for them, don't put that on him. That's
yeah,
me. Because if they're
yeah,
offensive, and some of them are, that's me. The repeat offender. Um, I guarantee that's going to be some candy, some delicious plants. It's now
well,
and later by
yeah,
Jailbird.
well, dude,
He was given that.
the guy that
Cat by. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you could do a dope card stock for that. Like Dungeons Vault, he always has some cool fucking graphics with a picture and shit. It's like you could have the little you could have it recognizable as the little puppet from the video, you know what I mean? But it could be like from behind it or something, but people would be like, "Oh, fuck yeah." Like that's what it is. And cuz I'm sure
Yeah,
if Tool
Dungeons
recognized it.
Vault's dope. I've talked to him a couple times. Um, not in person. I've never met him either.
Yeah,
But I like what
I
he's
met
doing.
I met him before,
I
I had him
like
on
that
the
he's
show one
creative
time.
and doing. He's doing solid stuff.
Dude, yeah, and cool names and cool crosses and
Yeah, yeah,
creativity, bro. And that's what I thought of that shit when I saw it on your IG. I was like, "Fuck yeah, that shit's tight." You know what I mean? It's rock and roll and it's weed and yeah, it is like some people are like, "That's whack. What the fuck is that?" Yeah, but it's controversial on purpose, and I feel like it's cheap marketing. And I'm sure it's still very nice, you know what I mean? So I think you
yeah. A
should keep
little
it,
more.
man. Keep it, man. Keep it, man. You know, put it out.
Well, there's friendlier names. You know, we did like a Black Domina by Jailbird, and I named that Little Wing after the song by Jimi Hendrix.
Word.
Um, we're thinking of doing like a Black Domina back cross, and calling that Blackbird because Indo sings Blackbird to his youngest daughter, and like she loves that. So like he
Word.
messaged me one day. He's like, have we named the strain Blackbird yet? You know. And I'm like, no, but this could be like a Black Domina back cross. And he's like, yeah, okay, let's do that. So eventually, hopefully, we can do that. We have a really really nice cut of Black Domina.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
so good. I offered it to Bob Hemphill. He saw it. He likes how it looks. He said he'd come up here and get it, but he never did. And see, again, I
Yeah.
question there, is that my personal life leaking into like what I actually do? And that's
Yeah,
whatever
dude.
happened in my
Yeah.
personal life was back in 2017. The fallout of that happened much later. Um,
Yeah.
and then like here I am now, like I paid my dues and shit.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
you know, it's
I'm not mad at
if
you,
you want
man. You
something where
know?
you're not going to be liked and you're not going to be popular, which like people can't see your likes on Instagram anymore anyway, then like yeah, you're probably not going to be well perceived if maybe you're growing gear from me. that seems like the vibe I get anyway. Maybe that'll change.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, I'm gonna crack those, take photos, and like I'll probably back cross it too. Give you my bean. So don't even
well,
trip,
I
short
don't want
sleeve
anybody
magician.
I don't want anybody F-genning me or Endo's work. I guess if somebody does, hopefully they just keep it tight and personal.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what I
all
was
right, yeah,
told to do by, Professor P has been doing this a lot longer than me, and I never want to come off as a know-it-all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I first learned to grow from seed by way of him, by, like, his pressure to, I think he's a year or two older than me, so you could call it peer pressure even.
yeah.
But I finally gave into it. I saw the proven results. Um, so, I don't know, a lot of the rest is history. Um, I try to I try to ask permission and be respectful. Um, again, man, like like I can be like a reactive person, and like I really got to work on that. But like, yeah, I'll talk out of the side of my neck. Um,
Oh yeah, man, it's cool. Like I'm not tripping, bro. Like it's your platform to talk, dude. I'm just trying to focus it
yeah,
on cannabis and
like people can get all sensitive, like I'm Gustav, and this is Tristan, and Tristan likes horses. I'm like, I,
yeah,
we used to make fun of each other where I came from, man, and like that's how we became friends, and like that's how we got to
yeah,
know each other is by like picking on our differences, not by like singling each other out. Like that
yeah.
seems like
We
some real
we
like primitive mind retarded shit to be doing, especially like when people doing this to me are like my peers.
yeah,
Um, I'm gonna be
we got
40
a
years old
real
this year, man. Like I might not look 40, but that's also proof that like I've been consuming it since I was 15. It keeps you young.
no
I got a
doubt.
lot of gray hair in the last year and a half, but that's just from
Yeah.
having an ex-wife.
Well, we got a real dry sense of humor where I grew up too, dude. So it's no, we crack jokes on each other. No hard
Yeah, I got
feelings. You know what I mean? Like it's all good. Ain't tripping.
yeah, all the bullshit that's like focused on me aside. I got other stuff that I finally got my hands back on. Um, I haven't had the 91 or Chem 4 since 2011. I've had the D back um, for about a year and a half now. I got it back from Mass Blooms. Um, I've been real friendly and respectful with him. Um, it's the real cut. Um,
Word.
the 91 I got back to, I don't know if I want to say from who, but because that's up to them. Um, but
Yeah, and
it
that's
has
all
a good,
good.
it has a good, yeah, it has a good thing to it. There's no bad juju, heebie-jeebie vibe or back alley weird thing about it. Um, I plan to do some
Yeah.
things with that. Um, I plan to make a cross called Ubu. Because I was
Sit
born in 1980, man. You know what I mean? Like
sit
at the end of
Ubu.
like
Sit
every,
Ubu. What was that? What that was like the end of a TV show. What was that?
it's some production company called Ubu Productions. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it'd be
what
at
did
the end
they
of like
make?
every like I don't know. It's
What
just
was the
like Saturday
cartoon?
morning cartoon. I don't know.
I
I
remember
just
that
remember
too,
that they
dude. I
did.
don't remember the cartoon though. That at the end, it'd be like, "Sit, Ubu." It was like a black dog, and the dog would bark or some
Yeah, sit
shit.
Ubu sit. So
That's cool.
I don't know. There's a lot of chem work out there. Lucky Dog's doing great stuff from what I hear. I don't know because I haven't grown it. But I trust what I hear. Um, Duke Diamond obviously has been working with that stuff for a number of years.
Man, I want to get
Um,
him on the show. Pig Farm talked about him. I want to get him on the show, dude.
yeah, I follow everybody that's got something to do with ChemDog. Like I said, like it changed my life.
Life changing.
I don't know. Yeah, like like making the bird dog strain is like I wanted to give something back to maybe those guys that held those strains that wasn't hoarded out anymore. But like nobody else had
Yeah.
it, and maybe like each one of them gets like seed stock and like they just do their own thing with it, whatever. But it's theirs. Nobody else got it, you know. Um, but then some things change with that, Like I said, I was approached, so we'll see how things go. Um, I got a lot of seed stock that I want to work through. I got some dumpster by Northern Light number one F2s from this guy named Laserface 415. Um, some people might look at him and be like, "Oh, he's a tent grower or whatever." Uh, I've been watching him for a minute, and I'm impressed by what he does, even though it's on like a smaller level. I find myself doing that a lot when I feel I find the right people, and I feel he's one of them. Um, he made F2s of the dumpster by NO1. It was first created by Bob Hemphill when he was with Coastal. Um, I approached Bob before I met Laserface. Um, like I said, I'm from Ohio, and I've always felt that like there was some Northern Lights, if not, um, if it wasn't just straight Northern Lights, of what the dumpster was, what I remember it being growing up there. So seeing that Bob made like dumpster by NO1s, I was like, I want to get my hands on those, and like I already had some ideas. One of those being was like the Junkyard Dog, but I hadn't got my hands back on the 91.
That's a
I
tight
got
name.
that back. Yeah, I got that back. Maybe 3 months after I got those seeds sent to me from Laserface. And if you've listened to the podcast that Heavy Days does, he interviews Skunk VA. I don't know which episode, but Skunk VA talks about like the stars aligning, and I'm for certain a believer in that, bro. They've certainly aligned back up in my life. At least it looks like I have like a fighting chance to get off early from probation, take what I have with me, or get it sent to me where I'm going, and be able to start over, where at least I can like afford to live. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
that's good. I wish you fucking well, dude. I wish you good luck with all that shit, dude, because
yeah, I
I've
appreciate you,
I've
man.
I've
And
been in I've
I
been
hope
in that
anybody out there,
position, dude. Been in that
yeah, I hope
position.
anybody out there who might struggle, gets through it and finds a way to, I don't know, keep their dream or their passion going, whatever they got left, at least.
No doubt. No doubt.
That's all I'm trying to do,
Same,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Same, man.
Um,
Same. I'm glad I could help and support with that, dude, and give you a platform to talk about the cool shit that you've created. But that's we usually try to go for an hour. We're at like an hour and 8 minutes right now, dude. So to wrap it up, like do you want to promote your social media? Like folks can follow you on Instagram, correct? Do you have like a YouTube channel or a Twitter or anything like that? You're on Facebook?
no, I do have a Facebook. It might be it might be backslash short sleeve magician. I'm not sure. Um, I got an Instagram though. I'm on there as much as I can be. That's at short sleeve magician, all one word. Um,
All lowercase, correct?
yeah, all one word. Um,
Okay.
who could I shout out? Simply Too Complex. I like what he's doing. Um, he's a smaller guy. Um, I see him being one of the next people that's really looked at.
Simply complex. I'm gonna
Fish,
follow
yeah,
that guy.
Fish Eat, yeah, Fish Eat Kush. Um, Fish Eat Kush one might be his Instagram. I'm not sure. He's in my followers. You can find him. He's made the
Alright.
fish food. Um, he's got a few crosses with a mail that he made called Lemon Chicken. Um, I'm impressed that he's coming original. And I'm not seeing that a whole lot with stuff that's coming out lately. So I'm impressed by those guys. They're smaller. West Valley Seeds, of course. Um, he's one of my closest friends that I have right now. He's let me sleep on his couch. Um, we've opened up our libraries to each other. Um, a lot of camaraderie there, and all around good guy. I can't
Word.
say enough about him.
That's
Indo
dope.
Supply
And then
Company, of course.
yeah,
He's let me
Indo
sleep
Supply
on his
Co.
couch
Yeah,
too.
that was the
You
guy.
know?
We had his logo on the flyer. You know what I mean? Yeah, shout him out.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to talk too much about his rec outfit because that's really separate from what him and I are doing with
Yeah,
creating. So,
and
like I
and
said,
that's
like I
cool.
might get some, I
Well,
might get
next
some
time I
personal
slide
blackmail out of
through,
it.
next time I slide to Portland, I'll look for those guys on the shelf, man. Like I like to shop around. Like there's places that I worked that I really like to fuck with because I miss them, and they're good people. But I also like to see what's hot because everything that's hot won't make it on the shelf to the places that I love. So I try,
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't just work with anybody. Right before I thought shit was gonna go down with me in my personal life, I reached out to Indo because I had an inkling like something was gonna happen, and I'm like, listen, take a couple of these cuts I got, take all the seed stock I have. Something's gonna happen, you know. I trust you with this. This is my second love next to my family. We're here in the midst of that, like I lose my family, right? Um, you deal with it, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
he got to hold some
yeah,
things for me. He's still holding those things for me.
that's
So
cool.
he's super great guy. Not only is he a super great guy, just in his heart and like how he is as a person, but he's a weed nerd just like me, man. Like he's made
Same.
his own creation. He made this clone only called Fire Engine Number Nine. It's a forum cut by Now and Later. He got the Now and Later gifted to him personally from Jim Bodeking of Earthfire Genetics, like back in 2015. Like we only know one other grower here in Oregon that has it. You know what I mean? California might be a different story. Things tend to move slower here with sought after cuts or things that are prized to be like unicorns or elites, like I was talking about earlier. Um,
Yeah,
but Indo's that guy. He's got
yeah. I try to
a
encourage
Southern
more
Oregon
people
Godbud
to
cut
crack
that he's
seeds.
had forever. Yeah, the Black Domina that he has goes back at least 10 years that we've been able to trace to some guy named Ollie in Eugene. And that's third hand from some friend of his.
That's
Um,
tight, man.
but it has to be like a 93 or 95 seed pop. It's really great. He's got Super Snow Dog, uh, Cherry Pies. So much great shit, dude. I can't even name it all. He's got like 40 different strains.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
top notch grower. Yeah, if you're in Portland, I would certainly look up into Supply Company. I'd buy anything by him, especially the Fire
That's
Engine number
cool.
nine. That- That's the one. That's the big hit.
Word. All right, man. Well, we're getting close to a quarter after. Is there anything else you want to say in closing before I do my outro dance, Mr. Short Sleeve?
um, I don't know. Um,
Because I
I'm really
feel,
not the
I
person to
honestly,
really.
honestly, bro, I feel like it was a pretty good interview. You know what I mean? Like I was like, it went okay. You know what I mean? Like you were able to talk about the stuff that you did, and I don't know, dude. Like, who cares about the personal shit? So, like, I'm just glad that you showed up
Oh,
and talked
everybody,
about your
dog. It's the
cannabis.
fucking internet. It's the internet,
Yeah,
bro. Everybody cares about that.
yeah, yeah. So you plugged your social media and the other people you fuck with. Is there anything else you want to say in closing, man? In 30.
Yeah. Don't hold grudges and don't make choices in your life that can be regrets. I don't know.
No doubt.
Whatever that means to people personally, it means something to me. That's all I'm gonna
Y-
say. You know.
All right, man. Good advice, short sleeve magician. I appreciate you coming on the I will send you the links as soon as I got them. Like YouTube should be up pretty instantly. If you search Concerned Dabs podcast on YouTube, it should pop up like 5 minutes later. But the Spotify doesn't upload till Tuesday. It's like something with their server, computer weight. I don't know. But when I get those links, I will send them. And if you want to share those with any of your friends, that would be. And then also, hopefully, we can have you back on the show sometime in the future, dude, and talk about the progress that you made. You know what I mean? So, I hope you're
Hey,
open to that.
yeah,
Mhm.
we either cross that bridge or burn it. But no, yeah, I'll get there, man. Yeah, we'll do that
No,
once I'm settled down. Yeah,
no doubt, no
appreciate you.
doubt.
Thank you. Thanks for
Y-
having me on.
Yeah, you too. I'll send you the link when I got them, and thanks for coming on the show, dude. We appreciate it. With that, I'm gonna do my outro dance, ladies and gentlemen. This was the 41st episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I was your host, Katie M. Ken. Our guest tonight was Short Sleeve Magician, the breeder of Jailbird and Super Underground, Not Out Yet, Holler at Your Boy, Prison Set. So I'm a fan of the guy's work. I'm excited to crack some of those beans, and we thank him for coming on the show. I also got to give a shout out to my guys in production, Mitchell Wilson and Jesse Curry. This has been a Main Note and Joseph Street Enterprise production.